Today we have our art competition. We are drawing Coral Reef and we are going to compete for the tickets for best art today to go into the glow room. This lesson will be a practice lesson. We are painting on large papers to create oceans. Eventually, we're going to go into painting it with watercolors. So this is your practice to learn the shapes of different corals and to practice so that in future you will be really awesome at it. I just want you to show you some examples from student art. These are first graders. You have some anemone, you got anemone, staghorn coral, you have starfish, you got Nemo, little jellyfish. Today we're gonna draw a nice simple little turtle that we know from our Welcome to Art Pockets. We're going to draw some scene of corals. These are some younger students that already started on the lesson that I would like to show you. So they started with just simple drawings, and they have some sharks. They got awesome coral rocks and huge seaweeds. So these are some like inspirational. This is the second grade. Lots of textures. I like that. Make your art very interesting. Sharks, really cool. Big rocks. This is upside down. Let's see what else we have here. Some nice jellies, turtles, fish, seaweed, inspirational turtles. There's a diver, jellies. This is really cool too. This is a cute anemone. We're gonna draw one of those. Interesting corals right here, and a diver. And ours is gonna be a glow art to go to the glow room. So if you want to, you can use markers right away or just use pencils, and we're gonna get started. We should successfully do some staghorns, turtle, some anemones, rocks, some interesting fish, eel, whatever you have in mind. A lot of you saw awesome movies with Nemo and a lot of different underwater sea life, shark movies, and different things. So hopefully you have a lot of experience drawing some coral. Also check out the styrofoam print lesson in our YouTube channel, which has to do with printing. And we are also going to be doing with younger grades coral fish like this using Play-Doh, and this is just different Play-Doh colors and textures lesson. So let's get started. Long story short, and also we with other fourth grade class, we also started on doing these really amazing black and white drawings, and I wanted to show them to you. They're in our lesson under Glowfish Under the Sea. Students first did their sketches, and then they started doing these amazing, absolutely breathtaking. Hopefully it's an inspiration to you. For graders, this is called, this is type of fish is called anglerfish or football fish. Has a little light at the here to attract prey, like little fish to eat. As you can see, they started with some glow-in-the-dark crayons on this lesson. This is the black lesson for the glow-in-the-dark room. So you would take your black paper with you and a board, and you're going to draw an underwater sea life. You will need your sketch first with a white pencil done in class, and then you're going to apply amazing Sargent oil pastels. These oil pastels are fluorescent, and these are going to be in the glow room. We also have some watercolor that are in the glow room that you can add to your art too, that are glow in the dark. But today we're just gonna use highlighters and regular markers, regular pencils to get started. So that's your materials. We are gonna be using a white paper today, not the black papers, but that's on the next lesson. Okay, let's get started. So I am gonna start with horizontal landscape, and I'm gonna just start with some rocks on the bottom. I like to make it look like there's a little bit perspective. So I'm gonna put one rock in front of the other, kind of guide the viewer's eye to the middle. And on these rocks, I'm gonna have different anemones and corals. So my first one is gonna come out here from the side, and I use the wiggly shape, and I'm gonna use some texture to highlight it. And out of these, I'm gonna turn them into tentacles, so they're gonna be wiggly little lines. As you know from Nemo, this is where Nemo lives. So it's just like kind of umbrella little looking like baby movement. Give it a movement. So they're kind of moving as the seawater is moving by them. These are toxic actually. They have poison, which is, I'm going to paint these little dots. To all the other fish, they will paralyze them because it's very poisonous. But Nemo is a clownfish. And Nemo has a special science adaptation. It's called symbiosis with an enemy. And we're learning a little bit of science. This is an interdisciplinary plan. So Nemo has a symbiotic relationship because on Nemo's skin, he has a special membrane that is protective skin layer. It's very sort of there's a lot of protective almost layer of skin that will not allow the clownfish to get zapped by the enemy. And so as you can see, this will be a great adaptation. The word is adaptation. And another scientific word is symbiosis. So the name of our lesson, so it's adaptation, and symbiosis. So Nemo fish is able to live in an anemone. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna draw is the staghorn coral. It's sort of like a tree. It has a bunch of branches coming out like this, but each branch has these little wiggly, thick lines. Corals are actually animals, even though they look like a plant or like a tree. And they're very important for the ecosystem, for fish to hide, live in. And so staghorn coral has these little circles all around the body of the coral. So I am going to just draw a bunch of circles on the surface for texture of this different coral. And as you can see, I have like perspective, so I'm kind of planning my coral around so I can have some sea life, maybe a turtle swimming through here in the middle. So kind of plan your composition, plan your perspective the best that you can. And I'm just adding all those crevices where fish can hide and inside of the coral. Maybe there's going to be a little cave where an eel is going to live right here. So I'm going to draw an eel coming out of here. It's sort of like a snake, but it has a long mouth. It's wider at the head, and then it starts kind of curling in. Eels have pretty sharp teeth. This one is kind of funny, but I'm going to add like a eel fin here on the bottom, and the rest we cannot see, but it has more interesting okay. So this time I'm gonna get inspired by this simple little turtle drawing from our class rules booklet. So I'm just gonna put this to the side so you can see it too and draw with me. It's gonna be a simple little oval, but it has sort of like this shape, almost a heart shape, oval and hearts. And Normally, this is for younger grades, so basically this is kind of like a wavy pattern where you just do overlapping waves on it. Normally, you can do a little more intricate pattern if you like that for yours, using more geometric shapes. But we're just using this wavy design today. You can give it a nice little frame. Normally you use hexagrams. I'm gonna do a cute little eye here. And some texture on top of the turtle's head, little smile. And as you know, sea turtles have big four arms, fins that they use for swimming. They're nice and wide and skinny at the tip. That helps them to swim and catch the current in the ocean. It's almost like wings of the bird. It's so wide. You know about sea turtles and their shape. Their hind legs are a little smaller, and then they have a little tail. Alternatively, if you do want to see doing a more complex design of the shell, I'll make a small turtle here and I'll just create the hexagram design of a shell. So it's like a triangle on top, then a square, another triangle, hexagram. And you can just make a line of them in the middle. And then what you do is you connect it to the rest of the body by to the side of the turtle shell like this. So it's more geometrical. And I'll give her fins swimming this way. She just moved. Each turtle will swim a different way, of course. You can outline these geometric shapes in the middle for more textures. This is where you would use like a light yellow and dark yellow or green, highlighter green, or just to make the shading colors of filling the colors and coloring. So I have my turtles here first, but I will do a seahorse as well, and I will do different art. I am going to add some of these cute corals as well on the other side. So I am going to create some of these. They're similar to staghorn, just really much skinnier, like we did on the other side. They look more like seaweed. It's just a lot of wavy lines that look like a seaweed. Here is more examples again to inspire you. This photo was made with printing and styrofoam lesson that I have in the other video on the class website. So please check out that other video if you're at home doing a virtual lesson with us. So here are another type of coral ideas. These are little tubes. They're kind of spongy, like a spongy type of coral. Some of these corals are made from different materials, such as many of them look like stone, but they're very hard, and these are spongy. So they're like little tubes. These look like little flowers. That's another type of coral. Just walked through the room and I saw amazing compositions. They had gorgeous things going on already, and we just got started. So I am so surprised. And before I keep going, I am going to talk about those different corals by being inspired by this amazing book by Claire Beaton, Make Your Own Coral Reef. And you can see just how inspirational her drawings are. Seahorses, manta rays, all kinds of, lobsters, starfish. And we can see here some ideas for you are on these sheets. For younger grades, I'll just make coloring sheets and they can cut them out, like first graders and second graders and maybe kindergarten. But I want you, older grades, third, fourth, and fifth, to draw your own. So this was the first coral that we did, the staghorn coral. Ideas for types of fish you can draw are clownfish, angelfish. These are clownfish. A diver, if you want to. A diver is a good idea. Octopus, some oysters. This is called a parrotfish. The fish looks like it has a parrot. You have also jellyfish. This was the anemone that we did together, the anemone. And as you can see, oyster right here in the corner, scallop, the parrotfish here. Here are some more ideas for you. You can be drawing some crab, lobster, seahorse, stingray or manta rays, sea slugs, starfish would be a good one, brain coral, sponge. This is a sponge, but brain coral looks very similar. Hermit crab, this is a cute one. We already did the sea turtle. And giant clam, queen conch. So I'm going to continue doing some more designs, a few more minutes. But before I do, what is coral reef? This is a time for me to kind of talk about what is coral reef and visit again this lesson on printing coral on a styrofoam. And this turtle was made, I showed you the example of the turtle that I printed, which was this one. So I printed that out of the styrofoam. Okay, so what is coral reef? Coral reefs are ocean habitats beaming with life. Although coral looks like it is a rock, like in fact it's a colony of tiny animals. Coral polyps that feed on tiny creatures are called zooplankton. When an old polyp dies, it leaves behind a hard shelf and a new polyps grow on this. Reefs take thousands of years to grow. There are also thousands of different types of coral, but they can be divided into groups. And two main groups of corals are the hard coral, which I told you looks like rock, and soft coral, which I told you looked like sponge. So soft corals such as sea fingers and sea whips do not build reefs. A coral jewelry can be made out of soft coral. The hard coral, like brain coral or elkhorn coral, have hard limestone skeleton. That's what I was talking about. They're hard on the outside. It's made of chemical called limestone that forms the basis of coral reef. And here's for your inspiration, a colored scene with awesome perspective. And this is part of like Build Your Own 3D. The book is really nice. I really recommend it. You can cut out a whole scene and build your scene with 3D props like these. And it's really full of awesome corals that we discussed, the hard corals, soft corals. And let me finish showing you just really quickly. Here is a giant clam, queen conch, sea slug, cowfish, jellyfish, crab here on the bottom. Really beautiful illustrations. Hopefully you're really inspired. We started doing this one first. This was our anemone. We can do clownfish next to it. That would be a good idea. Sea urchin, I completely forgot I wanted to do, and a seahorse, and of course coloring the sea turtle and the stingray. And some of the students, I think green team already had some stingray in there. It looked really good, and so I can't wait to see how everybody will do. Okay, so we're back, and we are going to draw a simple sea urchin like this one. Let me just show you. I'm going to leave it like this open so you can see all the colors so you can be inspired. And I'll just make new paper. Actually, I still have some space here. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the sea urchin. So all you do is circle, fill it in, black circle, and then you're doing all these spikes. Your black marker. You can do as many as you like all around, okay? It's like kind of pointy. It's very, very sharp to step on a sea urchin. So here is a sea urchin example. This one, okay? I wanted to also show you a seahorse. Let's do this one here. This one is turning this way. I'm gonna do one that is turning this way. His face looks like a vase on a side. So it's a circle with like a long, skinny, I guess a line, rectangle like baby line, little eye, and then it's letter S. So if you go this way, it's letter S from the top. Actually, it's an upside down S. I should have done it the other way too, like this S, circle, then straight this one like a 2, an I, and then from here you're gonna do a belly of the seahorse this way, and then curly tail. The tail can be in different position. So here I'll do one that is curled up this way. So yeah, making it, I'm gonna give him a little more body. That was a skinny seahorse. This one needs some body too. So he has a lot of fins too, so he can swim like that. Little seahorse. Okay. Maybe on the bottom here we're gonna have a little octopus. We're just gonna make it look like a little rock hiding, and then it's gonna have tentacles coming out from under the rocks. Right there. All around. And suction cups are on the bottom of each tentacle. That's how it works, like a suction cup when you want to attach like a clip to a tile without drilling a hole. There are suction cups that you can suck the air up and it will cling to the wall, tile wall. Okay, let's try a couple of these cute little flowery designs. So it's like a flower on top type of coral. Maybe they're gonna grow like a group here. Little baby. Couple of them living together under the sea. Like that. Starfish will be living here. It's a triangle, 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 triangle together. And a little texture. There are hundreds of different species of starfish. Most of them have 5 arms and they come in all sorts of colors and patterns. There can be a starfish that's skinnier. So don't feel bad if your starfish doesn't look right, because there probably is a starfish that looks exactly like that. So please know that your art is special just the way it is. Let's try to do some of these brain corals. So brain corals can grow right on top of the rock and it's just wavy, as you can see here. Oh, this one, they say it's sponge. Okay, and that depends. If sponge, it would be soft, and if it's hard with limestone, that would be a brain coral. So it has all these textures. Okay. See, maybe we should do that Nemo we talked about. So we're gonna do a little Nemo fish in an anemone. This is our anemone here. So like an eye shape for the fish. So eye like up this way. And then little tail, a fin on the bottom. And then don't forget those colorings, that white orange coloring like you can see here. So let's do it again. Shape of an eye to start with. Then thin lines, gonna be orange and white. Little fin on top, the bottom, just like that. You can also fill the space with different size of bubbles, make it feel more under the sea like. This painting is very, very filled with all kinds of things, but you can control it by you decide what you want to leave out, what you want to add. It is your composition, it is your seascape. I was doing some of these corals, very inspirational. So I hope you love this lesson about coral. Here is a little map where corals live. Caribbean islands, a lot of coral colonies, famous colonies here in Pacific by Australia, by the coast of Africa, Madagascar here. Many coral reefs develop in warm seas, so it needs to be a warm ocean. That's why it's around equator, right? And some sea slugs I didn't get to draw, some jellyfish I didn't get to draw, but that's all we have time for today. I hope you were inspired and drawing the coral reefs and learning about the habitat of corals and being inspired by this amazing book that we discovered. I discovered it in a bookstore and I fell in love with it, by Claire Beaton, Make Your Own Coral Reef. So pop-up coral scene. So definitely get the book. You're gonna love it and enjoy it. And I'll see you in our next video. Now is your turn.